All right, good morning there, everyone. Quickly, this is your special interest slide assignment in a nutshell. So we would like for you to choose a problem that developed during the Industrial Revolution that likely people have worked towards trying to solve or come up with some solutions or better planning, and yet it is still a problem that's experienced today. In your Unit 7 interactive notebook, you will find that we have given you 3 special interest slides as a choice. One of them is over child labor, one of them is over pollution, and one of them is over urban planning. For those of you who were in class and did the Industrial Revolution urbanization game, you'll find urban planning means city planning, right? So the idea that we can plan our cities better, right? Things like less crowding, less pollution, less noise pollution, right? That type of thing. Maybe even wealth distributed more evenly throughout the city. Okay, those types of things. So when we talk about, all 3 of these were problems that developed during the Industrial Revolution. All 3 of these are problems that people tried to solve. And additionally, these are all 3 sadly problems, right, that people are still grappling with today. Urban planning now is really like suburban planning, and we even have issues in Kearney about how to use our land, right? Pollution obviously has changed a little bit from coal to different types of pollution, and child labor, while it may not be in the United States, is still certainly a problem places. And again, it's sad, but why are a lot of our products so cheap? Likely, somewhere somebody is exploiting children, right? So if you would like, because this is a special interest slide, if those do not interest you, there is a 4th slide that is open. That 4th slide is for those of you who are ready to kind of challenge yourself or push yourself. Consider some other options, maybe factory working conditions back then, how they've changed, maybe, and how they're still pretty poor today. Racial discrimination is going to become a big deal during this time, during the Industrial Revolution, particularly when people are using the excuse of social Darwinism to justify these social class inequalities and racial disparities, and obviously racial discrimination, even especially in housing situations, is still around today. Public health conditions, right? So things like the wastewater in the canals was a problem. Right? People work towards solving those problems, and yet we still have public health conditions, like, for example, water safety, clean water, even things like pandemics in heavily populated and congested areas, the use of mass transit and everybody cramming onto subway systems, right, creating public health problems, right? So that would be an interesting one. Alcoholism back then, and vice. Vice would be things like gambling or underground crime rings. Mechanization, replacing human jobs. This is, again, during the Industrial Revolution, people being jobless because a machine has taken their job, and we are still seeing that that is something that is experienced today, and yet there are some people that are trying to solve the problem of people losing their jobs. Resource depletion is another example. So resource depletion would be like over-farming land. One of the issues that we saw during the Industrial Revolution was great agricultural advances, but sometimes that is going to result in resource depletion. So if any of you are kind of agricultural minded, this might be a good one for you to look at. How have we tried to solve the issue of resource depletion, and is it still something that is a problem? Another agricultural based one, family farms, being unable to compete with the large, wealthy farm owners that could afford the large machines back then. Sort of what are some some solutions towards that? Maybe things like supporting small farmers or buying local, that type of thing. And yet family farms today still having a hard time competing with these large factory farms that are a lot more industrialized and a lot less family, right? So if you think of other options, something else that you're like, you know what, I'm pretty sure this started during the Industrial Revolution, pretty sure it's still around today, and you would like to do it, just email myself, and I'll give you the go-ahead. Really, when it comes down to it, whether you use child labor, pollution, or urban planning, all 3 of those, we've already provided sources for you, but you can use your own as well. If you choose one of these, or your own, you are going to have to find your own sources and add them to your slide. I'll show you that in just a moment. All right, overall, please explore and research the following. Why did the problem develop during the Industrial Revolution? Why then and not before that? Evidence of the problem, what are some examples of the problem? Some charts, maybe statistics, maybe even images of the problem. What solutions have been attempted? So research that. It's not going to be something that's super obvious sometimes. And is it still a problem today? If so, where? And if also so, why is it still a problem today if we knew it was a problem back then? All right, so to show you in your interactive notebook, these are the slides. Child labor, here's a whole bunch of links for you. Okay, and again, you would fill in your research over here. Pollution, here are your links. Okay, fill in your information over here. If you chose urban planning, here are a couple links, right? And then again, you would go over here for this one. Any of these three, you may have to go find some of your own sources as well in addition to those. For this last one, the you pick, right, you will, okay, delete. So yours is, I think, maybe a little bit different. I think it's the leftover urban planning. So you want to go in and think, why did this problem develop during the Industrial Revolution? What are some examples of this problem? In what ways does it, like what kind of solutions maybe, okay, have been around for this one and tried? And then is this still a problem around today? If so, where and why? All right, then you will put links to your research sources over here. That way I can figure out where you got your material. All right, if you have questions about these, please let me know. You have until next Wednesday to get this done. All right, so Wednesday to get this done. If you have questions, make sure you ask, particularly on the days that you guys are in class. All right, have a little fun with this. Go exploring, do some research, and pick something specifically that interests you. Remember, you only have to do one of these slides.